director and founder of the Institute for Cultural Conference. The International Symposium is trying to look at primarily three things. How is the United States presented abroad? How is it's perceived abroad, and what is the reality? And I think that's where there's a huge potential for culture to make contributions, to try to educate, enhance, and sustain relations. Understand America, not to apologize for anything, not to defend anything, not to do propaganda, but to create a fuller picture of the strengths, of the weaknesses, successes. And I think it's time for the United States to evaluate. If the Cold War was really a when it came to culture diplomacy, winning the hearts and minds of foreign. We believe that today, this priority of culture diplomacy is necessary. However, somewhat not necessarily winning the hearts of foreign audience, but even more as a how really into other parts of the world as well. And that's where we're in Washington, D.C., and Baltimore, two issues. What civil make? Can the private, what contributions can the public sector continue to make? And these are some of the issues debating, opportunities as challenges in the United States. No, I think the power of partnership is vital. We look forward to continuing our partnership with you and also in Turkey. And I think really one of the contributions culture diplomacy can make in terms of fighting extremism is to make it more difficult for the extremists. The more culture diplomacy there is, the more education it is, it's harder for me to an extremist. The more about Jews, about Muslims, about Christians. And I think that's an opportunity. Diplomacy, it won't end, but it will be difficult for extremists to actually accomplish their missions. And that's, I think, a great contribution. But of course, it can't stay at the high level. This at the United Nations with secretary, ambassador, I believe, got to come to the civil level. So in terms of my hopes for where we go in the future, that would be it. Actually touch the private sector, firefighters, teachers, the nurses, the East Coast of, and let's go to Oklahoma, to Texas, California. Let's go to the 80% of Americans who don't have power, all of them in this. And of course, at the Institute is America, that happens since we're based here, but really around the world. And to what you were saying, it's vitally important these faiths that the religions, they've got more in common than they have, despite what they perceive. And I think that's diplomacy. Focus on those similarities, focus on the commonalities, and get constructions to work together as opposed to tearing us apart. I'll be very happy in 5 or 10 years if you and I once again and our work is no more needed, and if one did actually achieve that goal. So let's work as hard as we can to come to that moment. Next, we're president of Maghreb for a big event looking at culture diplomacy in Southeastern Europe. Montenegro, with almost the entire, where we have the Minister of President. Event 3 in Madrid, looking at peacekeeping and conflict resolution. So a busy schedule continue throughout the summer and non-stop try to make as many as we can to helping to educate, enhance, and sustain nations around the world.